Let us prepare for meditation with Eric as Bethany takes us within. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and follow that inward path.
Settle back, close your eyes, free your mind, just be. Watch your breath come and go as it takes you out to sea. God is here loving you. Hear the oceans roar. Go with him, let the peace bring you home once more.
And with that invitation of both Pixie and Bethany, I invite you to go even deeper into your breath and into your body and into that gentleness of your soul. As Carl sang, all you've got to do is call. All you've got to do is invite that presence within to be present in your awareness. Because that love, that gentleness, that peace is always there. Now, as you take another gentle breath, invite in that warmth or coolness, whatever you experience. Begin to feel your energy falling from the top of your head, your awareness of your thoughts, down through your jaw, your neck, and your shoulders, down through your upper body. Just feel that energy running down through you, as though you were a pipeline, a current of spirit. And feel that energy running down through your midsection, your belly, down into the seat, chair where you're sitting. Feel it flowing down through your upper legs, your knees, your lower legs, into your ankles and your feet. And then down into the floor. Just feel yourself grounding into your chair, relaxing all the parts of your body and letting go. And if you're willing, think or pray these thoughts for yourself. I allow peace and healing into my own life. I allow peace and healing in for myself. We are interconnected. We are all joined. And as you let in love, peace, and healing for yourself, You do it for the entire planet, for every person and being that lives in this world. I invite you to go even more deeply into that presence, into that stillness, into that healing, in a few moments of silence. And now, as you begin to hear the sound of my voice again, listen to the music and let Carl's music begin to bring you back into the room. And take a breath. Begin to move your fingers, your hands, your feet and your toes. Stretch your back, your arms, and feel yourself coming back more fully into the room. It's time for re-entry. Let your eyes flicker open. Take in the sights, the sounds in the room around you, and come back fully to this time and this place as I welcome you into this service one more time. Thank you so much, Carl. And Pixie, Rosie. And now let us begin. Today's about asking some deeper questions of our lives. Not just of the interior, but of the exterior. How do we join our inner and outer world? So why is our spiritual life important to our worldly life? That's what I'd like to explore with you today. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Unity of White Rock for the invitation to come back again and speak. I miss you, and I also miss being together with you, but at least we can be together virtually. So welcome to all of you who are on today's service. I'd like to begin with some questions. This is going to strike you perhaps as a little bit silly, but this is the first annual Unity of White Rock quiz time. Yes, and if you choose to participate, here are the rules for the quiz time. First rule is there are no rules. Second rule is there are no wrong answers. For any question I ask today, whatever words surface for you, whatever your truth is, speak it out loud or speak it silently to yourself. All of you is welcome here. So for my first question, how many people have something to do today? And how long will you spend on those activities? Do you have cooking? Do you have cleaning, shopping, making dinner, or a lunch? What are the different activities that you have to do today, and how long will you do them for? 5 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours? Think about it for yourself and what your day might bring. My second question is, how many of you want to grow spiritually today? And how long will you spend on that? This isn't about guilt in any way. This is about what your truth is and what your day will actually be like. Thinking about those two answers, how many of you feel a bit of conflict between those two? Between wanting to do the things in the outer world and needing to reconnect spiritually as well? Perhaps you may feel you don't have enough time to do everything on either the outer or the inner plane. Or maybe you feel forced to decide between them when you want to be still and you need to be active. For me, these questions brought up these two images, one of a scale in equal balance and one of a teeter-totter in equal balance. And those are great images, but you know, of course, the problem, right, is it's impossible to keep those two in balance. Either the scales, so for example, thinking of work-life balance, we often think of balance, but of course, it's impossible to balance them equally. And often work takes over from life. Or sometimes money takes over from our hearts. It's simply the way that with scales of balance, there's no way to keep them pretty much in equal balance. Same thing with the teeter-totter. You know that if one is up, there can often be a downside to that. That's called falling forward. If you pardon the daylight savings metaphor, we're actually here to fall back. So where do we go with that? What if we could see our worldly actions and our spiritual life in a different way? Not as something that we have to balance and continue to pull from one and the other, but to see them as connected. See them as even supporting and strengthening each other. Might that allow us to live life in a different way and not feel divided or that there's a tug of war going on inside? Think for a moment about our worldly actions, all the different kinds of things that you may be doing today, from cooking to shopping to going to doing to being on the computer. What is it that guides all of those actions? Well, of course, it's our thoughts and feelings. Beliefs, pressures, ought to, shoulds, want tos, they all come out of our thoughts and feelings. Human nature, as I've said on many occasions before, has two sides to those thoughts and feelings. And here's one side. I'd like you to just read those words to yourself. Loving, connected, powerful, peaceful. Imagine that being part of your very makeup, your being. But then, of course, there's the other side that we experience, right? The fearful and anxious side. But perhaps think of it as the side that doesn't experience love. There's the separate side of us, the part that might feel separate as we walk into a room. That's the part that doesn't experience the connection of the other part of our mind. There's the powerless side at times where we don't experience the power that's within us. And the conflicted, maybe even warring side inside that doesn't experience the peace. Both of those are continually, every hour and every minute of each day, shaping our world. Unity is based on these principles. I talked about them last month. The first one is God is all there is, and God is love. Another principle, we are created by that God, and we are good. Two foundational principles for unity. And yet, often we don't experience those, do we? Or at least not all the time. Why is that? Well, for me, the best understanding I came across is in something called The Course in Miracles about 40 years ago. And it said, essentially, to paraphrase, somewhere in the past, our mind, our shared mind, believed that we separated or disconnected from our Creator. Now, that is literally impossible because our Creator is life itself, and had we entirely separated, we would be separate from all of life. We would be separate from all of love. And yet, that is what we've come to believe and experience in so much of our human lives. So I'd like to explore that a little bit more with you. What's the impact of being disconnected from something? Well, one of them is we stop getting what that source that we're disconnected from provides. And we also experience lack or a lack of flow of what that source would provide. So let's look at that in some more practical terms. When you get a kink in the water hose, you don't get the water. A very simple way of seeing what disconnection might mean in worldly terms. Here's another one. When you don't have cell service, you can't get the internet or talk on the phone. And here's a third one. When an electrical plug is out of the socket or cut off entirely, we don't connect with the electricity that we may need for whatever purposes we might use it. In all cases, the water, the cell service, the electricity are still there. But if we're not connected to them or they're blocked, we don't get them and we don't get to experience them in our lives. The same is true with the peace, the love, the energy, and the intelligence of God or spirit or universal life, whatever you may call it. If we're disconnected, we don't get the benefits of all of those qualities of God that shape our world or that can shape our world. So what breaks our connection or blocks our awareness with the divine? I'd like you to think about your own experience. What breaks your connection to peace, love, or harmony? What blocks your awareness on a daily or hourly basis? I'd like you to think about those things because they're seeds for action. Here are some of my own. When I get scared about something, it's like a wall drops down. I feel disconnected, as though there is no God or love or peace. Another one is busyness or wanting to do more, like emails. Pushing, trying to get more. You can see how the body seizes up and the breath seizes up. That's disconnection from that flow as well. Anger and judgment. Watching CNN and seeing some politician that I don't like, perhaps. Those ones, again, bring down the veil between our fearful mind and our loving mind. Thinking that I know what to do or that I'm right about something invariably block the flow between me and my peace and me and someone else. And doubting my own value is another way that I stop my own experience of connection. So I come back to that initial question, why is our spiritual life so important to our worldly life? Well, for me, it's because I've come to learn that the inner life is what determines and creates our worldly experience. When we live from our disconnected state of mind, when we live from that place, we experience a lack of spirit. And what that means is that it comes out as a lack of creative, thoughtful, and harmonious ideas. It comes out as ego. It comes out as fear, worry, anxiousness. It comes out as conflict, competition against each other. And it comes out as a lack of purpose or a lack of power to shape the world in our lives the way we would like to. However, when we live from our connected state of mind, we experience the presence of spirit, and that gives us a whole different experience in the world. We get richer, clearer divine ideas that work better. We experience more love, more safety, that we actually, it's like we do have friends in this life, and the peace and the joy that come with them. We get to experience connection with each other and with nature around us, with life itself in harmony. And we get to experience a deeper sense of purpose and power that comes from those, and expresses through our lives. We become the channels for that power into the world. Either way, either consciousness you choose, these are what shape our thoughts and our ideas, our words and all of our actions, and our world, as these two pictures might demonstrate. Alone and against, together and for. When you look at the world around us in all its manifest forms, which side of human nature is shaping it the most, do you think? As you look at the politics of the United States, or the coronavirus, or the resistance to even wearing masks or social distancing, the resistance of left and right, rich and poor, colored and non. Which is shaping our world? And if we want to change this, what can we do about it? Well, for me, the core is about changing that mind that we come from, so it will shape our behavior in different ways, in new ways, in healing ways, by reconnecting to source first. In the outer world, we wouldn't even consider trying to get water out of the hose unless we turned on the tap, right? We wouldn't consider trying to use a cell phone if we got no service on the Wi-Fi. And we wouldn't consider having light from the lamp if we didn't turn it on or plug it in. That we take as commonplace. In order to get them, we need to reconnect to source. In order to get that flow of water, that ability to talk on the cell phone, and the light that comes from the lamp. Reconnecting to source. And the same is true on our inner world as well. So how do we do that? How do you reconnect to source in your daily life? Think about it for a moment. Do you use breathing, relaxation, meditation, daily word, going out into nature? What's your best way of reconnecting? Here are a few that I can offer you in case they add to what you already do. The first is becoming present. Present in this moment and present to that deeper current we call the divine. Pausing and breathing are the ways that I try to do before each new activity, before I pick up a telephone, before I leave my apartment, before I call someone. Pausing for a moment to listen to the divine within. Another one is the daily word today that Rosie read. Think of those who have blessed your life. A parent, a teacher, a neighbor, a friend. Just by remembering them, we connect and reconnect to that love. A second way of reconnecting is to call upon that divine. Ask for it within. We can do that in prayer, for example. And we can do it through asking the question of our larger mind. What would you have me do here? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? Where would you have me be today? The third one is, once we become aware of it, to use it. to act on the ideas we get, and to grow consciously the energy of love and connection around us. As simple as stepping in to an elevator or a lobby, somebody there beside you, and saying hello and looking at them and seeing them, perhaps striking up a conversation. We can grow this energy wherever we go. Finally, it's about removing the blocks. You know, what came to me this morning is we all got kinks in our sphincters, right? We all get blocked at times from having that flow, that love, that energy flow through us. So here, for me, is the key. Notice when you're off, when you're not feeling that harmony, flow, love, or power or purpose. Take a moment to reconnect. Just the intention sets you on the path. It's not something you have to do by meditating for 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours at night. We can do it moment to moment to moment. Notice when you're off. Ask to reconnect. And breathe. That's why the spiritual work is so important to me, because what I found by reconnecting continually is that I feel more life and more hope and more power and more purpose. And yet, paradoxically, I also feel that deeper sense of current and connection and peace. But it's not just that. It's about the fact that this reconnection gives us access to a power that can change everything in our world. For me, I believe, I have a high vision. I believe we are spiritual agents in this world to bring healing change wherever we go. Kind of like a man 2,000 years ago named Jesus, who, as a human, so fully identified with that loving, true, powerful nature of his divine self that he was able to bring forth miracles and change things we normally don't think are possible. Well, I believe that's what we're to do, is to follow in those same footsteps and bring that kind of change into the world. So with that high idea, I'd like you to take a moment and just gently turn within and reflect on this service so far today. Do I want to be that kind of agent of change in my world and in your world? Do I want that experience of that love and peace and presence and harmony in my own life? And am I willing to remember, even a couple of times today, to notice when I'm off and to notice how I can reconnect to that love, that spirit, that present, that friend inside? And as we close this time, I'd like you to think about our neighbors to the south and what they're going to experience in the next several days, in the next week, and perhaps weeks ahead of them. And I'd like you to join in all of us as we hold them in the preciousness of our hearts and our hands, and then send them the peace of love, release from their fears. May they be held with the love of God in all they experience in the week and weeks to come. Amen. And with that, I invite Carl back in to take us across the universe.
Just to mention, this song was performed first by the Beatles, but composed by Lennon McCartney. Words are flowing out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither wildly as they slip away across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy are drifting through my open mind, possessing and caressing me. Jai Guru Devo Om. Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Images of broken love which dance me, call me like a million eyes. They call me on and on across the universe. Thoughts meander like a restless wind inside a letterbox. They stumble blindly as they make their way across the universe. Jai Guru Devo. Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Sounds of laughter, shades of earth are ringing through my open mind, inciting and inviting me. Limitless, undying love, which shines me around me like a million suns and calls me on and on across the universe. Jai Guru Devo. Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Jai Guru Devo. Jai Guru Devo. Jai Guru Devo. Jai Guru Devo.
Thank you, Carl. I contemplated nothingness and it changed my world for the better. So thank you for your deeply heartfelt and comforting songs. And Eric, wow, what a talk. That was so filled with wisdom and inspiration. Thank you so much.